Hello.
Welcome back to MD Toys and Merch. Today we're going to be showcasing all of the PS3 games that we have purchased so far in 2025. We've got some games from really popular series, and we've also picked these up, a lot of them secondhand for really inexpensive prices. Our PS3 collection has certainly grown this year. We do have a lot of other PS3 games, but this is just what we have picked up from our local thrift stores or Facebook Marketplace, any secondhand stores online or in person. We will jump straight into today's video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you like this type of content, because we have plenty of games that we can make future videos just like this one for you all in the future. And give this video a like, especially if we showcase any of your favorite PS3 games today.
All right, let's get started. I'll bring over the first game here to show off. We've got the Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 remix. As well as, I may as well bring them both in, we've also got the 2.5 HD remix. Like Em said at the start, collecting for PS3 has become our new hobby in 2025. We've been buying a lot, and we thought just as we hit the middle of the year, we'd kind of do a bit of a stock take and show everyone what we got so far. These two, we picked up, I think, for about $5 each at an op shop or a thrift shop. Another thing to note before I continue is that any prices I say are going to be in Australian dollars. Obviously, that's going to vary a lot depending on where you live. The direct comparison I can think of off the top of my head would be in America. Typically, you'd halve these prices for American dollars just because of the conversion rate and everything like that. But also PS3 games in general in Australia tend to be a little bit more desirable and a bit more expensive because we do not have PlayStation Plus Premium PS3 streaming here in Australia. We just have PS Plus Deluxe, which is just the classic games. So we don't have access to those streaming services. So getting games on disc for PS3 is pretty much the only way to play a lot of these games, unless they have actually been remade on PS4, PS5 or other consoles and platforms like PC. So you'll find that a lot of prices here are a bit higher than they might be elsewhere. So anyway, back to the games. We've got the HD remixes here for Kingdom Hearts. I remember when these were first announced, it was just awesome to be able to play the final mixes of all of these games finally in English, and I didn't have to resort to watching like grainy 360p videos of people playing the Japanese version on early YouTube. Again, both versions here. We've got the 1.5 with KH1, Chain of Memories, and the Days movie, and we've got two here with Kingdom Hearts 2, Birth by Sleep, and the Coded movie. Honestly, these days, the PS3 versions are probably not what you want to play these on. I'll quickly also show in here as well, there is the disc and the manual as well with the Square Enix code. Typically, we try to grab games that are complete. Some of these won't be complete though, but sometimes it can be a bit hard to find the manual, but we like to find the manual where we can. So as I was saying, these days, the PS3 versions are probably not the best way to play these remixes. You're better off playing the more modern re-releases of these remakes on PS4, Xbox Series and PC, because these ones take a very long time to load. All right, we'll move these ones off to the side here and let's grab some more. I feel like we got a pretty heavy hitter here already. We've got the HD collection, the HD trilogy for the original 3 Ratchet & Clank games on the PS2. These were remade on the PS3 and we recently played through them all, and the Ratchet & Clank games are just so much fun. Pretty timeless. We just really enjoy them. I also was really enjoying the story and the jokes in these games. These are really, really good. Now, some of you might lose your minds as to what we found this game for, but we actually found this at Savers, which is a big thrift store here in Australia, for $2. And this game, I can put some sold listings on the screen. It goes for about $70 to $100 used in Australian markets, because obviously the original 3 Ratchet & Clank games in HD, a lot of people want to play those. I think at Savers, they actually had this mispriced. They had these with the Blu-rays and had marked them as Blu-rays or DVDs, which Savers sell for about $2 there. So we got so incredibly lucky with this find. Absolutely crazy. Probably the best find in our collection so far. So there's the HD collection. Actually, on the same day, we also grabbed Tools of Destruction, which was also $2. Now, this is about an $18 game, $20 game on the secondhand market, but still an absolutely crazy price for a Ratchet & Clank game. We are slowly making our way through the Ratchet & Clank Future series, is what it's called on PS3. So we played through all the games on the trilogy here. Obviously not showcasing the digital games here, but we've got the Gladiator HD remake as well, downloaded digitally onto our PS3. And we're slowly going through and playing each one in order. Ratchet & Clank, we find, is one of those series that we play a game and we really, really love them, but we kind of have our fill for a few weeks. So we go play some other stuff and then we come back and play the next one when we're feeling up to it. But we're really excited to try out Tools of Destruction and the whole Future series, which are, spoiler alert, you'll be seeing a few more of the Ratchet & Clank games in this video. Now here's a funny one that we found, at least the story is funny. We've got Infamous 2 here. Obviously the Infamous series by Sucker Punch started on the PS3, and then we had Second Son on the PS4 as well. And then Sucker Punch moved on from Infamous, started making Ghost of Tsushima. But here we've got the second Infamous. We're still on the hunt for the first one, but what's more, I guess, interesting is the story behind how we got this. And you'll notice that the manual is missing as well, and that probably ties into the story. Is actually, Em and I were going for a walk, and we happened to walk past a house where people were doing some spring cleaning. They had some hard rubbish, and we saw in one of the boxes they had thrown out a bunch of PS3 games. So we had a look inside and saw some pretty cool games, Infamous 2 included. So we went up and asked, hey, do you mind if we grab those? And they said, yeah, sure, totally. So we ended up grabbing Infamous 2 and a few other, it was mainly sport games. So we ended up taking that to CX, which is just like our kind of, where you can trade in your games, get some credit. So we ended up taking the rest there because we weren't really interested, but Infamous 2 was definitely the highlight there because, again, this is a PS3 exclusive that we got for nothing. So we were super duper happy about that one. All right, next up, I mentioned that we took some of those extra games in that box to CX to get some credit. And with that credit, we actually ended up buying almost every other Ratchet & Clank Future Series game on disc from CX using the voucher they gave us. So all of these games are from CX. Here is A Cracking Time with the manual. Manual is a little bit damaged. We find with CX that you have to get a little bit lucky with the condition they come in, especially if you're buying online, since you can't really review the condition. But luckily for us, they're not too bad. Obviously, there's a little bit going on here, some sort of gunk here. But look, all in all, it's in pretty good condition, and we have confirmed that it works, which is the main thing. Again, like I said, we haven't gotten to a lot of these Ratchet & Clank Future Series games yet, but we're slowly getting through and we're really excited to play them. Almost forgot to mention how much this one costs. I think this game is maybe $18 to $20 on CX, so we probably paid somewhere around that for it. Next one, also from our CX purchase, is Ratchet & Clank All for One, also from the Ratchet & Clank Future Series. This is the 4-player co-op game. I've heard mixed things about this game, but we'll be excited to play it together, me and Em. I think that would be a bit of fun. Here it is with the manual as well. And this has also came out in that time, I think it's here on the box, yeah, the network pass where you had to pay to play online. What a weird time in online gaming. But yeah, anyway, this one in particular actually didn't come in the best condition. Can you see how the case is peeling there on the protective sleeve? So that's the gamble I guess you run when buying online from these secondhand stores. But it's fine. I guess if we ever find if we ever get lucky enough to find someone throwing out some PS3 games, sorry, maybe we can salvage a case and swap this one around. Again, this one from CX, I think was very similar to A Cracking Time, maybe about $18 to $20. And then our last purchase from CX with those vouchers was the final entry in the Ratchet & Clank Future Series. We got Ratchet & Clank Nexus. This one looks really cool, and I've actually heard a lot of great things about this one. And this one seemed to come in the best condition out of all of those three that we bought, which is good, because I think this was the most expensive. I think we overpaid a little bit from CX on this one. We paid $40 AUD, and I think this goes for about $30 to $35. But that's okay because we used the vouchers, and I think technically on this whole order that we did of the other two, we only had to pocket like $5, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, like the other ones, haven't played this one yet, but we're really excited to get through the whole Ratchet & Clank series. All right, so next up, if you watch the channel a bit, you'd know that, especially me, I'm a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog. So when we were in this PS3 buying phase, I knew I had to purchase all of the Sonic PS3 games as well. So I started off with Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. This was one of my favorites back on the 360. I used to play online so much on this game. I used to make friends and talk to them in the Xbox Live parties, and we used to play heaps of races together. And I remember also I used to go crazy on the time trials and try to get high up on the leaderboards. This game still, even though the next game that's coming up is leagues better than this one, is still really fun. I had a lot of fun replaying this and getting the Platinum Trophy. It's a lot of a trip down memory lane, and a lot of the character picks here are really cool. So I'd really recommend this one if you're into Sonic and Sega, and of course arcade racing as well. Next up, we've got the sequel. I'm actually playing this one. That's why the disc is not in there. It's in my PlayStation 3 currently. But yeah, we've got Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. I feel like this game doesn't really need an introduction because a lot of people played this and realized how really, really good this is. This is like one of the best kart races ever released, in my opinion. Just so good. The characters are great. The tracks are awesome. Love all the references to those old school Sega franchises like Panzer Dragoon and Burning Rangers. Just awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. And a lot of the characters, so cool. I love ages in this, and I love all the different reps they decided to pull from. Even those crossover characters on the PC with Team Fortress, Football Manager, all those sort of things, really cool. This was a great game. I forgot to mention, with Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, we picked this up for $8, which I think this game goes for typically about 15 Australian. And this one we picked up on Facebook Marketplace for I think about $10. And this one, because it's a bit more of a popular game, goes for about 25 normally on the used market. So we got a decent deal here as well. Another thing I should mention about this game, and this has got, it's the Essentials version. I think we had another game here, one of the Ratchet & Clanks that was Platinum. So that's Platinum is used for the best selling games. I think at some point in the PS3's life cycle, they kind of rebranded the Platinum series to be this Essentials series. And there's, I think, a couple of more in our collection that are the Essentials reprints. I know a lot of people that collect online are a bit funny about wanting the more, bringing in Ratchet & Clank Nexus here, the more black label games. And they don't like having the Essentials or the reprinted versions of games, but we don't really mind. I actually like the Essentials branding, and I actually really like the Platinum branding. So it's not a big deal for us. Next up, continuing with the Sonic games, we've got Sonic Unleashed here. This is actually one of my favorite Sonic games, especially after revisiting it. Let me spin the disc around. You might have noticed I have a bit of a habit that if the disc is misaligned like this, I'll spin it around in the case so it's upright. This is complete as well with the manual. Really looking forward to replaying this game again, even though PS3 probably isn't the best place to play this game because of the massive slowdown in some of the later levels. But I'd just be excited to get all the trophies on this and try and grab that Platinum Trophy, since we do like our Platinum Trophies here at MD Toys and Merch. We've got quite a collection of those as well on our account. So yeah, I think I bought this one off of eBay, and it was for the normal going price. I think I paid about $25 for this. I put in a best offer, and the seller accepted it. So yeah, not too bad. This is pretty much at normal going price for Sonic Unleashed, but happy to have this one too. And the last Sonic game we have here, Sonic the Hedgehog, or Sonic 06, the infamous first next-gen Sonic game. I have thoughts about this game. I don't really need to get into my Sonic 06 rant in this video, but in a nutshell, I do think there's a bit of revisionist history happening here where I think a lot of people that have played Chaos X's Sonic Project 06 on PC, which in my opinion is pretty much a different game entirely, are kind of equating the quality of that project to this game. And no, this game is just not great. You can tell it was released in a very unfinished state to meet some deadlines, and there were some crazy things happening behind the scenes at Sega and Sonic Team at the time that led to the game coming out in this state. But I think because of that, And because of the sort of infamy or almost kind of like legend behind this game, Sonic 06, on all platforms really holds its value. This game is going for about $45 to $50 on the secondhand market here in Australia. We found this copy all the way in the back on like a back shelf on Savers for $20. So for the price that we paid, this is actually pretty good for Sonic 06. And maybe one day we'll play through it just to experience it in its sort of glitchy, imperfect mess. But look, at the end of the day, it is Sonic, so I still do hold it close to my heart. It introduced us to Silver, and it's great to kind of have sort of the last kind of remnant of that more adventure-style gameplay here in this game. But yeah, there we go, Sonic 06, and actually for a pretty good price as well. Next, we've got actually a pretty cool one that I purchased quite recently for us. We've got Ratchet & Clank Quest for Booty here. Really like that name. So with Quest for Booty, this is actually, it's meant to be just a digital PSN game that you would purchase on the PSN store, and it's meant to be a little bit shorter. But I think from my research, exclusively in PAL regions, so UK, Australia, New Zealand, places like that, they actually did release this game on disc. And because it is a digital only game, and because as you've seen, if you're playing PS3 in 2025, the PS3 online store really does feel like it's on life support, and at any second it will just go. I mean, there was that scare a few years ago where Sony said they were shutting it down and then they didn't after fan outlash, but it really does feel like any second that story is going to go. So I think there's going to be a lot of demand for this game in particular, and others that got disc prints that are primarily PSN digital exclusives, because once that store goes down, this will be the only way to play this game, unfortunately. Now this one, this actually is a bit of a tip I've got if there's any other Australians collecting PS3, Xbox 360 games in Australia. EB Games within the last month have started selling retro. Feels bad to say that these PS3 games are retro, but they are 20 years old, and it does hurt M&I's soul that it means that we're getting older, that we don't feel that these are retro, but they technically are. But they're selling retro games, PS3 and Xbox 360 and PS2 being a part of that kind of initial rollout of the program. So what I managed to do was I was checking the site and I saw that they had Ratchet & Clank Quest for Booty in stock for only $24. And this game on eBay, the normal going price is around 60 to 70. Again, got to do with what I explained earlier. This game, once the PlayStation Store goes down, this will be the only way to play it, and it only came out in PAL territory. So there is demand for this, and EB Games had it at a crazy low price. So we swiped it up. We got lucky because I've heard horror stories that you can buy the secondhand games on EB Games or GameStop, the equivalent in America, and they'll come to you in horrendous condition without the original box art, no manual, no nothing. But we got very lucky with Quest for Booty here. It came with everything. So we got an awesome deal here, and actually M&I were looking a bit more on the store, and they've got a lot of PS3 games on their site for very good prices, actually. So if there's a game you're interested on PS3 or Xbox 360, keep an eye on EB Games, because if they come in stock, you might be able to grab a bargain there. And then the last two editions, these were actually purchased a couple of days ago from an op shop here in Australia. We've got Killzone 2 and 3. We're kind of on a mission as well to grab every single PS3 exclusive. And of course, Killzone 2 and Killzone 3, we had to grab those as well. These are first-person shooters and very popular with people that were playing a lot of PS3 back in the day, especially for that online. So here is Killzone 2. This one is complete, and these were in very good condition. When we went into that op shop, I think whoever donated these games, they had so many PS3 games, whoever donated it must have donated their full PS3 collection, because there were so many in there. But we picked up these two. Each of these were $5, which I think is pretty much market value for these games. I saw Killzone 2 goes for $5. Killzone 3 is closer to $6 or $7, so we got a slight deal there. But we ended up just picking them up because being able to just kind of see them in the op shop, and again, these are complete with the manual. The back of the discs here, just a little bit dirty, but in really great condition. So we ended up just picking them up because we could kind of see just how nice they were. We're excited to play through the campaign of these two games. Obviously, the online, unfortunately, has been long gone for a while now, so we can't play any multiplayer and we can't even get the platinum trophies, but that's okay. We're still really excited to play through the campaign and get as many as we can. But yeah, with that, that is actually our full physical collection for now. I'll bring in the two stacks here and you can kind of see. Here's our first stack with Ratchet & Clank Nexus at the top, and here's our second stack with Killzone 2 at the top. We have a few more digital games as well, but obviously that's not as exciting as the ones on disc. We've got the Jak and Daxter HD collection, the Sly Cooper HD collection. We've got all the Sonic digital games as well, and there's a lot more we're eyeing off on the digital store. Games like Tokyo Jungle, games like the Pixel Junk series. There's so many cool games on the store, and we've got to make sure to grab them before inevitably that digital store will go down.
Well, that's a wrap on all of the PS3 games that we have thrifted and purchased online this year, which has come to a total just under $200. It was $196 on the dot, and we've got 15 PS3 games here, which is averaging about $13 each, which isn't too bad. Give or take, some are more expensive than others. If you enjoyed today's video and this type of content, definitely give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. We would love to make future videos like this for you guys for entertainment purposes and just share a bit of our knowledge as well from the games as well as the consoles themselves. We love chatting to you guys in the comments, so don't feel shy to leave us a comment. Let us know if you've got any of these games in your PS3 collection, what type of video games you like to collect, or perhaps even how big your full game collection is. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and we will see you next week with another video.
Bye.
Bye.